Hello. Welcome to the Wayward Skein podcast. This is episode 6. My name is Lynn. I'm your host. I was previously of the Two Tangled Skeins podcast, and now I'm doing this solo one. So, hi! If you've been here for the last few episodes, thanks for sticking with me. And if you're just figuring out where I am now, welcome. I am on Ravelry. I don't have a Facebook group, but I am on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, and I have an Etsy shop, but it's dormant right now. So, it's been a crazy week and a half. Well, week actually, because I think I recorded on Monday last week. I was going to record last night, but then I decided to go out and have a little bit of fun with my daughter, so we had a girls' night, and it was super fun, so that's what I did instead. I'll mention my tea, because so good. So this is my absolute favorite tea from David's. It is called Quince Charming. Surprisingly, one of the few black teas I like. I'm not a big black tea person, but this is a black tea, and it smells amazing. If you've never had quince, it's sort of like a combination of apple and sort of vanilla notes and sort of peachy notes, and it's a complex fruit. You can't eat it raw. You have to cook it to be able to eat it. And oh my god, it just makes the most amazing tea. It's my absolute favorite. Every time it goes on sale, I stock up. So that's what I'm drinking, and this is my lovely little Libra mug that I picked up at Target last year while we were at Rhinebeck. So that's what I'm drinking right now. To jump right into knitting, I only cast on one thing, and I'm a bit of an idiot because I didn't take out the other thing I'm working on. Sorry. So, the thing I've been working on the bus, I showed you the first finished one last week. This is the second one. It just kind of lives in my purse, so come on. There we go. I just finished the gusset decreases for my second sock. I love the pooling there in the heel, like right here. I love it. So this is my standard vanilla sock, which is based on Sock Recipe, A Good Plain Sock by Stephanie Pearl-mcphee. Not Stephanie. Stephanie. Although, what does she say her nephew used to call her when he was a baby? Aunt Effie. Tia Effie. That's what she says they call her. Her brother-in-law is, I can't remember where he's from, but he's Latino. And they're teaching Spanish to the boys, so it's really cute. Tia Effie. So anyway, this is my standard sock recipe. It's 15 rows of ribbing, 20 rows of leg, heel flap gusset, and it goes from there. So I just finished the gusset decreases, and now I'm going to knit the foot until it's done, and then I can start on Rob's socks next. So that's my next project. And I've been using this adorable little needle keeper. I'm trying not to blow things out too much. The lighting in here is not ideal. If I turn the big lamp on, I turn into a big mass of white. Right now I have my small desk lamp turned towards the wall, reflecting onto me, and it's still pretty washed out. So this is, there we go, this gorgeous polka dotty rainbow fabric that Mandy of the Mandy Pinecone Crafts podcast made me a little needle keeper out of this. It's adorable. I love it. And this is on, it's out of Nova Sock Prints. The colorway is 174. I picked this up at Moulinet in Montreal a few years ago, and I have to go back there. We had a great time at that store. I picked up a couple of skeins of really cheap sock yarn, so I need to go pick up some more. Because I need more yarn like I need a hole in the head, but anyway. As you may be able to tell, the air conditioner is on because holy humid, look at my hair. I am up here. I'm trying to control the frizz as much as possible, but it really is, yay humidity. I did cast on something new the other day, and I zipped through the first pattern repeat so quickly. So I'll show it to you here. It doesn't look like much. You really can see the stitch definition is amazing with this yarn. So I don't know if I just completely blocked the microphone or what. So this, and I'm sorry for the condition of the pattern, it's been smooshed up in a bag. So this is the Winter Long by Bristol Ivy. There we go. So it's a long cowl that's got this gorgeous knit stitch pattern showing up against pearl stitches. It is absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to tell you how it's done because I'm not sure if it's a paid for pattern or not. Basically, you do a provisional cast on and you go from there. You do 7 or however many repeats of the pattern you want, and then you do a 3 needle bind off with the provisional cast on. So I'm super excited about this. It's knitting up absolutely gorgeous. I'm loving it. I did get a couple of people really excited when they saw the colors at the bottom because they thought that the teal went really, really well with the gray. And it really does. Fortunately, I have a whole lot of the teal left from the baby sweater that I did a couple of weeks ago. So I've got all this left. It's most of a skein. I think it's about 80 grams. So I do have some dark gray acrylic in my stash. This is acrylic. It's 80-20 acrylic and wool. So I am thinking of pulling out some gray acrylic and maybe knitting a stripy hat or something. We'll see, because I really love the combination of the two here. Unfortunately, this is just a provisional cast on and nothing to get excited about. So again, this is Winter Long by Bristol Ivy, and it is an absolutely fantastic pattern. It's hard to put down. I do have to pay a little bit of attention to it, but not too much. I'm working off the chart on the last page. So basically, once you cast on, if you're comfortable with charts, you literally only need the last page of the pattern. The whole rest of it is written out instructions for the chart. So it's really easy. You can easily do this if you're a beginner knitter. You don't have to be super advanced to do this. So you do have to pay attention and actually read the stitches though. The first row after the first row of the second pattern repeat, I swear I ripped it out and redid it 3 times before I finally said, okay, what am I doing wrong? Am I stupid? What's going on here? Looked at the pattern, realized I was misreading one symbol as another symbol. Fixed it and moved on. So there we are. It's this is done out of Filtus King velour. It's this stuff. It's an Italian yarn. Sorry, that's completely blowing out. There you go, Filtus King velour. I believe it's discontinued. It's likely discontinued. I got it out of the fun bin at Knit Knackers like 8-9 years ago. Oh, at least 9 years ago, because this is the yarn that's left over from a baby sweater I knit for my nephew, my first nephew, who died when he was 6 months old, and he would be turning 9 this summer. So yeah, or he'd be turning 9 in January. So he'd be turning 9 in January, and he passed away. He was 6 months old. So this is at least, it's been in my stash since probably the first time I went to a yarn store. It's squishy soft. It is, I think it's an 80-20. It would be helpful if I could actually read this. It is, nope, can't read that. How about this? Really? It doesn't say what it is. There it is. 72% merino wool from Australia, 28% acrylic. So it's a merino acrylic. It's super soft, super squishy, gorgeous stitch definition. I love knitting with this. It's going to be a super soft, squishy cowl. And it hasn't decided if it's for me yet. If it's not for me, it'll either be for my mom or for somebody else who's connected to my nephew, because it's this yarn has emotional attachment. So. And this whole project is living, I'm actually almost done the first ball. I have to wind on the next one. I have 5 balls of this, so I'm not going to run out. It is living in my absolutely gorgeous bag from Woolridge Designs. I don't know if you can see her little sticker there. Can you see her little sticker? Let's see. So it's from Tanya Woolridge, who is a bag maker. This is honestly the most beautiful, squishiest, wonderful bag that I own. My friend Jen from the Uncreative Crafter podcast posted that she had bought this bag. And I went, and immediately went on to Tanya's shop and bought the other one. It is an absolutely breathtakingly beautiful bag. I love it. It's stiff. It's huge. It's got 5 skeins of yarn in here, and it's got room for the knitting. Sorry, I'm making noise all over the place here and getting stuck. It's got room for the pattern. It's got room for the project. It's like everything fits in here. I could probably fit a couple more balls of yarn in here. And she's got this cute little sun progress keeper on this as a zipper pull. And it's got a nice little handle on this side. I love this bag to death. I'm a real big fan of celestial type patterns, so this really hit all my, and I really like blue and yellow, so it hit all my buttons. I love that bag so, so much. Sorry, I will neglect you guys for tea a little more often than usual tonight because, oh my god, I love this stuff. If you haven't tried it, it is sweet. If you don't like sweet teas, like it's naturally sweet. If you don't like sweet or fruity teas, you won't like it. But if that's your jam, you are going to be all over this. It's so good. The other thing I pulled out, I was going to cast on some mittens, and I actually did cast on some mittens. Knit 2 rows, and then the yarn split. So the mittens are in the naughty corner. The yarn's right here, but the mittens are in the naughty corner. So I will try to cast those on before I podcast again. But I did pull this beastie out. I haven't knit on this in a year. Did I knit on it around Christmas time? I don't remember. I think maybe Sarah of the Canadian Knitter podcast was doing a advent calendar knit along for the mitered-square blankets. I think I might have done a couple of squares then, but as I've been largely unable to knit since last September, I haven't really touched it. I didn't pick it up again when I started knitting again. So I did pick it up tonight, and I put 1 square on it, only 1. So it's this lovely thing. I don't know if you can see the colors there. I don't have the greatest camera. I apologize for not using my phone a second time. I had so much trouble getting the episode back off the phone and onto the computer that I was afraid to do it again. So fear not, I am saving up for a camera. I've found the one I want on Amazon. I just need to get a few more bucks together, and I will be able to order the camera, and then I will have a proper camera, and you will be able to see me clearly, and there won't be any of this blowout stuff, and we'll see about fixing the lighting and stuff. So my square that I added, this little crazy thing over here, is made of 3 Irish Girls adorned sock, and this is the Ainsley colorway, and I got this from my friend Crystal, who is a huge 3 Irish Girls fan. Huge. Like she knows, she's talked to the dyers and stuff. She knew the lady who ran the company originally, and like she's a big fan of this yarn. So I got that from Crystal. I'm basing my mitered square. It's loosely based off the knitted patchwork recipe by Martine Ellis. Loosely based. I'm not using every element of that pattern. I've, picked up little bits and pieces from other patterns. So this, I actually have a little kit here. It's got a little pair of scissors in it. It's got a stitch marker, and it's got the 2 needles that I need to make the mitered squares. And this is another little needle minder from my friend Mandy, who is Mandy Pinecone Crafts. It's sort of like a goth Alice in Wonderland sort of thing going on. And I love it. It's so pretty. And of course, it's got her signature pink on the inside. So I love these things. She made me 4 or 5 of these, and I use them for everything. So I'm a little anal about my mitered square blanket, and I actually have a notebook in which I write down what every single square is knit out of, if I know. There are a couple of unknowns in there, but most of them I know. Because I tend to keep my minis in little baggies like this from whoever I got them from. And this one in particular, whoops, that way, has a little card where I've written down all the stuff that's in it. So these were minis that I made up from a huge lot of yarn that Crystal was destashing. And so basically anything that wasn't a full skein, I made minis out of. The full skeins I sort of distributed among my group of friends. Everybody got at least one skein, and the people who were in town got to pick out of the bag after that was done. So Crystal gave me a whole pile of destash yarn. This isn't all from her, but I think most of it is. A little bit of it is mine. But that one in particular is definitely Crystal's. She's a huge Three Irish Girls fan. And I don't blame her because this was lovely to knit with. It's gorgeous colors. I don't know if you can see the neon yellow and the neon green and all those colors that are, it's sort of fluorescent colors mixed with a little more muted colors. It was super fun to knit, and yes, I will admit I did not weave in the ends on my last square yet, so technically it's not finished because I always, if you look at the back of the blanket, there are no ends there. I weave them in as I go because otherwise I will go crazy. So this is the beast. It is 35 35 squares wide, and I'm either going to do 30 or 35 stitches squares high. Need more teeth. I do have a tendency to trip over my words when I'm talking too fast. So, and since the blanket has been resurrected, Jen, you know what that means. More minis for Jen. Jen's squares on her mitered blanket are a lot smaller, so she uses she uses less than 2 grams of yarn. I use about 3 grams of yarn out of a 5 skein mini, so basically whatever's left over from my square, I wind onto a little cross-stitch bobbin thing, the little cardboard bobbins, and I send them to her. So now I'm starting to amass Jen minis again because it occurred to me the other day that Rhinebeck is coming. And I got no minis for anybody. Mainly because I haven't been knitting, so I don't have any leftover skeins. I don't know what the heck is with my hands there. Spider hands! I'm apparently a little bit silly. It is 9 o'clock on Tuesday night, so... And my cat is sitting on the chair over there judging me. I just heard her going... The cat's judging me. So that's the only other knitting I did was on my blanket. And I actually had it rolled up like a jelly roll because it's so long at this point that I just had it rolled up so it was out of the way. I'll fix it later. Other stuff I've been doing this week. I've been a busy girl. Holy cow, have I been a busy girl. On Saturday, I went berry picking with my friend Sylvie and her little guy Tristan. We went raspberry picking at the Orleans Fruit Farm. We had an absolute blast, although it was really stupidly hot. So I remembered sunscreen. I did not remember water. You would think, as someone who regularly suffers from sunstroke or heat stroke or whatever it's called, I would remember these things. I did not. So I was off picking things and Sylvie was feeding Tristan and I bent down to get a berry. I stood back up and went, ooh, time to go sit down. So I walked back to the car. Sylvie gave me the remainder of her water bottle. We paid for our berries. We left. We went to a gas station, got more water bottles, guzzled those down. We didn't get a lot of picking done because of how hot it was, and quite frankly, the bushes were pretty much mostly picked out. We didn't find a lot of fresh berries. They were mostly like overripe, dried out sort of berries. It was a little disappointing, but with the heat we've been having and the lack of rain, it wasn't all that surprising. It's drizzled most of today. It's not enough for the lack of rain we've had this summer. So anyway, after we went to the gas station, we went to the fruit farm, picked up more raspberries because I had wanted enough to make jam, and I didn't know if I had enough. So we picked up raspberries and some potatoes and carrots and some green onions, and then we went to another farm stand down the road called Pearl-mcphee, the Pearl farm. It's a local farm to my parents. It's in Cumberland Village, and they have the most amazing strawberries I have ever had in my life. I actually, I bought 2 baskets for myself And then Sunday I went back and bought another basket for my mom because they really are the most amazing strawberries. They were so good. So I picked those up. I picked some blueberries up, went to my mom's on Sunday, picked all the rhubarb. I've been a busy girl. Saturday night, I made a batch of blueberry peach jam. I got 3 jars out of it. It's a little foamy in the jar, like all the fruit rose, because I didn't, I'm using a different pectin, and it's a little bit of a learning curve because it gels very, very quickly. So you can't keep stirring after you take it off the heat because it will gel. So I'm trying to figure out how to get the fruit more incorporated into the jam without it gelling on me that quickly. I'm using something called Pomona's pectin, which is a calcium activated pectin. It, rather than being sugar activated, it's activated by calcium, so you don't have to use as much or any sugar in your jam if you don't want to, which is great for me because I'm diabetic. My whole family's diabetic. We can't eat sugar. We're not supposed to eat sugar. So I made this as an experiment. My peaches were not ripe enough, so I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. But this was just an experiment to see how the pectin worked and to see how it would go. So I used, these are store-bought blueberries and some peaches that I picked up at the grocery store. Unfortunately, peaches aren't in season yet here, and it didn't occur to me that it was a little early for peaches, so I didn't check them before I bought them. And they're really not very ripe. I actually have a couple next to me, then they're still hard. So I was a little disappointed with that. But later in the season, when it is peach season, I'm sure I will get some lovely peaches, and then I will make some peach jam. I want to try peach rhubarb, and I want to make some more of my peach ginger that I made a few years ago. I use fresh ginger instead of powdered, so that it really has a kick to it. So I made 3 jars of this blueberry peach, left one at my mom's. I've got the other 2. And tonight I made some strawberry jam. It also has all the fruit at the top, and then, I mean, it's gelled. It's really, really gelled. Which happened almost as soon as we took it out of the water bath. So I'm not sure how to keep the fruit from all floating to the top with this pectin. I'm going to have to do some research. I did use a little bit of artificial sweetener. I used monk fruit in this one. I used stevia in this one. I'm still trying to find the right non-sugar sweetener. This is actually still warm from the canner. So this is my plain strawberry. I plan on making a batch of strawberry rhubarb and a batch of strawberry mint if I have enough berries left. I think I do, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to make the strawberry rhubarb first, because whatever's left over, I'll make strawberry mint. And if it's only like a jar or 2, that's fine. So, yeah, I've been on a jam making kick. I have 3 batches of rhubarb already chopped up, like 2-cup measures, because a batch of jam with the Pomona's pectin is 4 cups of fruit. You don't want to overdo the batches because otherwise you may end up with gel fail. So this was 4 cups of strawberries, no lemon, a little bit of lemon juice. I put a squeeze in. I think I used half a cup of monk fruit, powdered granulated monk fruit sweetener. So it's pretty good. It was really tasty. And so now I have a batch of raspberry rhubarb, a batch of blueberry rhubarb, and a batch of strawberry rhubarb to make. And then I will be done for a few weeks until the next fruit comes into season. Technically, blueberries aren't in season yet. I'm using commercial blueberries, not wild blueberries. Wild blueberries won't be in season for another couple of weeks. Then we're going to get into stone fruits, and I'm going to see if I can drive down to Picton and maybe pick up a bucket of cherries, because I've never made sour cherry jam and I want to try it. So anyway, that's my jam making adventures for the week. I haven't done any baking because I can't eat it anymore. That whole low carb thing is kind of, no baking. So there are things I could make. I don't feel like experimenting, especially not when it's this hot and humid out and the air conditioner can't keep up. So that's about what I've done around the house. We had a house inspector come in. there were prospective buyers who wanted to have the entire building inspected by a home inspector. So they came in on Thursday, and I had to chuckle a little bit because when they went in the bathroom, he was, digging around behind the toilet as home inspectors do. And normally this would make me nervous, but my ex-husband had actually come over to help me prepare for this and had actually scrubbed the floor behind the toilet, so I felt a little bit better about it. But he's, poking around behind the toilet, and he goes, "Did you know your toilet leaks?" And I said, "What?" "It does not." He says, yeah, it's really leaking, and there was water pouring out from the back of the toilet. And I'm like, it's never leaked before. And sure enough, as soon as they all left, the toilet stopped leaking. Like, we put a dish back there so I could see how much was leaking. And as soon as they left, it stopped leaking. Little fishy there, buddy boy. So I thought that was kind of funny, and I called my landlord to let him know because, yeah, it's really not unheard of for building inspectors to try little tricks like that. I am assuming they were doing that to make negotiations go in the favor of the buyers. So that's why I let my landlord know, because it seemed like a dirty trick, and I wasn't going to let them get away with that. But it was really funny because I've lived in this apartment for 3 years. The toilet has never leaked. So I thought that was kind of funny. I have finished Midsummer Murders. I'm a little bit devastated. A little bit. I was enjoying it so much, and then it ended. And I'm not sure if it's going to continue or not, so we shall see. I know there's a new series of Father Brown anticipated. I know there's a new series of Midsummer Murders anticipated. This is British TV. Lord knows when it's going to happen. So they don't tend to do regular seasons the way we do here. They do series, and that series may stand on its own, or it may get a second series eventually, but they don't have like a... I don't understand how it works anyway if there is a schedule. So I ran out of Midsummer Murders, and I decided to download something that I missed from growing up. So I downloaded Sliders, the entire 5-season run. If you've never heard of Sliders, you will laugh yourself silly. It's along the lines of Quantum Leap, but it's a group of people who are traveling. It's not just one guy. And rather than traveling through time, they're traveling to alternate Earths, like alternate dimensions. I had forgotten just how much of a teenage crush I had on Jerry O'Connell. I'm a little embarrassed to admit this. He's my age, and I pretty much grew up watching him. He was on TV from like age 10. And so I pretty much grew up with him, and I had such a crush on him. I still kind of have a crush on him. Kind of have a crush on his wife, too. He's married to Rebecca Romijn, who used to be married to John Stamos. But anyway, he's been married to her for the last 11 years, and they have twin girls, and they are just the most adorable damn couple. But anyway, so I'm almost through the first season of Sliders. It's awful. It's so bad. So 90s. But I'm really, really enjoying it. I remember every bit why I liked it so much as a teenager, and my teenage crush on Jerry O'Connell, wow, has completely blossomed again, and he's pretty. And he seemed like a genuinely nice guy. I wouldn't know, I've never met the man, but he seemed like a nice guy. So anyway, I'm watching that. I've also always loved John Rhys Davies, so that's a big draw too. And I'm getting a kick of watching all the actors that I've seen in other stuff since, like more recent stuff, who played bit parts on this show. It's hilarious. What was her name? I forget now. Stephanie Zellweger, maybe? No, that's Renee Zellweger. Stephanie Zuniga was in it. And I got a kick out of that because she was absolutely terrible in it. So I'm really enjoying it. It's a really cool trip down memory lane. The other thing we did was my daughter and I decided to go out for a girls' night out last night, and we went and watched the new Mamma Mia movie. She really desperately wanted to see it. I was really looking forward to it. I sobbed like a baby through the whole thing. To be fair, hello. The cat says hi. To be fair, some of that sobbing might have been hormonally induced. I'm just saying. Hello. Would you like to come up and say hi? Come up and say hello to the people. My big fluff butt. So this is Lynx. She likes to have attention. When I'm talking to anybody on VKNs or if I'm talking on the phone, she comes over and requires petting. It's the only time she bothers with me. Are you happy now? Yeah, I thought so. Off you go. As she almost takes my DPNs with her. So that's what I've been up to. I won't tell you anything about the movie, but if you liked the first one, you're going to like this one. You will cry. There will be crying. My daughter cried. No, I'm not picking you up again. So that's about it. I really, really, really love the movie. Of course, we made the mistake of walking there with big, ugly black clouds in the sky. It was pouring rain when we came out. No. No. She will sit there and keep asking. So we ended up having to take a cab home from the theater because of the pouring rain. So the entire evening cost me all of $10, which was the cab ride. I love Scene Points. They're fantastic. Paid for the tickets with Scene Points. Paid for my daughter's popcorn with Scene Points. Done! Now I have no more Scene Points. So, yes, hello. Her head is right here. She's so long that when she gets up on her hind legs, she can actually stick her head in my armpit. It's very unpleasant. She does it when I'm knitting. Anyway, I'm just babbling now, and you probably don't want to continue conversing with the cat, so I will say goodbye, and I will see you guys again probably on the weekend. So keep your sticks pointy. Bye! I had to start again because there are a couple of things I forgot to mention. Last week when I recorded, there were 35 people subscribed to my YouTube channel. Right now, there are 181 of you. I am absolutely floored. 150 of you have joined since I podcasted last week. Thank you so much. I really hope that I'm not disappointing you, that you enjoy the podcast, and I hope you keep coming back. The other thing I wanted to mention is I did start a group on Ravelry, so come on over, join the Ravelry group, except you, Enid. I know Enid doesn't use Ravelry, so it's a running gag with us. So come and join our Ravelry group, introduce yourself. I'm going to start having threads and stuff to discuss things, and maybe even have a little bit of a contest soon. Since, oh my god, 181 people. Wow. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who hit subscribe, and I hope you keep coming on back. Bye!